Hello, I'm Ryan Rayshek, and I'm with Nia Williams, and we're Silent but Deadly. We're working on a sign language teacher. Let's get started. So, in the last part, again, just to reiterate what we're going on, because this is the update, we are trying to create a sign language tool that integrates with your webcam that helps you learn sign language without needing these more specialized, more targeted to company methods that are only available and cost money to do.
So the data set that we're going to be using is based off of the MNIST data set. So it looks like this and it's black and white. We used MediaPipe to do things like cropping the handout because we are grabbing a full frame image of the person and we want to just be able to get the hand. The model will be it is currently a convolutional neural network, and it has two convolutions with the max pooling flattens it and then puts it into the two fully connected dense layers with some dropouts between them to prevent overfitting, and then going to an output layer of 26 different possibilities as there are 26 letters. The batch sizes are 500 to 2000, and we're using Atom and Adigrad as our optimizer.
Previously, when we first did this, we had our model only about 60% of the time pick the top five right choices, like the correct choice was in the top five. And only about 30% of the time, or 40%, these are kind of averages, or approximations. But it would only select the right letter 30% of the time. And those would typically be pretty like obvious letters like L and W and V, as they're fairly unique. But when it came to letters like A, M, N, and S, they're very similar to each other that it's hard to like actually predict which one's which.
So our overfitting correction was to add dropout layers, and we added a Gaussian noise to the images, which just like changed the pixel values a little bit. So it still has the same idea, but just like a little bit fuzzier. And then we also would invert the color of the images just because all of the images were very similar with like a white hand on a grayish background. So there wasn't too much difference between those.
We were thinking about using a recurrent neural network and a feed-forward neural network as well, but we decided to not do that. The reason why is we'd have to create our own distances and angles, but we wanted to mention it here because that's something we mentioned previously. And because we would have to create our own data, we decided that messing with the images would help overfit much better. And as Nia just said, the Gaussian noise was between so we ended up giving it a mean of 0 with a variance between either 0.1 or 1. We found kind of a sweet spot at 0.15 after doing many different models. And we ended up just selecting that one because that one just tended to have the best accuracy. But if you had too much variance, like if you had one had way too much variance, that it would kind of like lose the silhouette in the image, that it just like kind of always randomly predicting. With too little variance, you have the same problem. We're still not fixing the image and like training it on a harder data set. And then as far as inverting the image, we wanted to try to emphasize, so we gave it both the non-inverted and the inverted with the Gaussian noise in both of them in each fit. And we would do about 10 different epochs of different Gaussian noises to train the model. And we wanted to emphasize and try to tell the model, hey, we want you to try to find the silhouette rather than figuring out, oh, what's consistent. Because as Nia just said, it the data set is really just a let me even go back here, is just a white person and a white background. And that kind of messed with that would kind of mess with some of the training in general. Because first of all, if you were in like actual testing, because first of all, if you're a black guy or someone who has more darker skin, you're gonna it's gonna probably unaccurately or not accurately predict you as compared to what a white person. So that's why we wanted to have that, so that there's at least some ability to like have it like actually accurately predicted, and there's no bias in the data set. You don't have to be in a a white room, a white background room. You can just be in a pitch black area or something.
All right, so here's what our set looks like. This is F, this is W. These are perfectly working. This is O, worked well, and this is B. So B was captured in the top three, but it didn't get it right. This is Y, back to W, and this is R. So R and U look very similar in sign language, so it has some difficulty with that. This is P. So for the most part, most of these actually worked out pretty well. As you can see, letters like G, and this is supposed to be G, but it predicts H. G and H look very similar to each other, so it's kind of hard to see always, the right answer being predicted.
All right. As far as evaluating goes, we found that the best way to evaluate was with a webcam. We did have accuracy and mean square error, like actually to help like figure out overfitting in some of our earlier model, but we found that the best way to evaluate was actually to have the webcam running after we trained it. And with after doing about 5 different models, we came to one that happened to have just the right amount of prediction. About 80% of the time, it would come to the right answer, and about 90% of the time, it would be in the top three choices. The right answer would be in the top three choices, and about almost all the time. I say 100% because I don't think I remember once seeing it not accurately be in the top five. But there's still problems with this. Like we were hoping to fix the background part by inverting the image, and it's still the background still kind of does skew the prediction, but it's not nearly as atrocious as it was before. And we still have to adjust the hand in the image because of that to get the right answer.
Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to give us some feedback because we'd love to hear it.